I have the pleasure today of welcoming Karina Schelde, the founder of Soul Voice, the Soul Voice method, to this amazing interview. It's been over 14, 15 years since I have reconnected with Karina, and I'm really excited to introduce her to my community. So, Karina, you were created the Soul Voice method nearly 30 years ago. And as I was saying when we were talking before, I met someone the other day who trained with you 30 years ago. That's an incredible commitment to this Soul Voice journey. So I had the pleasure of reconnecting with Karina. I did her PCP, which is her practitioner certification program, in 2006 and 2007, and it was life-changing, transformative. And I've done, a couple of other things since and really integrated it into who I am. But it was actually during a personal crisis and transformation the last couple of years that I returned home to the embodied wisdom and teachings that came through from Karina at that time, and became even more deeply grateful for Karina's presence, as she is such a spiritual powerhouse on this planet, and she deserves to be really honored, because I think to bring such a cutting edge modality at this time, it's so needed. And I now have the opportunity, as a result of reconnecting with Karina, have the opportunity to host her 2-day workshop here in Brisbane, Meanjin, at the Sanford Steiner School next March, the 8th to the 9th. Now, this 2-day workshop is called Soul Voice, but it is very much one of the foundational courses to Karina's practitioner certification program. Now, the amazing thing about this practitioner certification program is, and the thing that I really want to get across to everybody, is that this is the last time Karina is actually going to be teaching this program herself. Now, she has taught Soul Voice around the world globally, 85 countries, thousands of people over the last 3 decades. And so she now has very senior teachers holding the mantle of Soul Voice and teaching it. And they will be continuing to take forward the practitioner certification program globally. So, but the point is, this is the last one that Karina will be teaching in person in Australia and New Zealand. Now, the 2-day and then follow-up 5-day, the calling is in Melbourne. A week or so later, if anyone is interested, we can definitely get the dates. But we thought that because it's such an amazing opportunity to actually learn from Karina herself, that's why it was so important for me to host you this time with the beautiful Jess Dawson. So, Karina, yeah, what can you share with us about the Soul Voice method?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just wondering where I shall begin after this beautiful introduction. Thank you so much, Willow. I believe that some of the extreme uniqueness with the Soul Voice method is that I work with each person's individual soul print or ability to express themselves exactly as they are. So their unique voice potential, both in expressing more fully, clearly who you are, releasing through voice work the deepest core of your being, being able to heal yourself and others through that. This goes through a lot of intuitive perception, but also, of course, a lot of structure and techniques and exercises that I have built up over the last over 30 years. So it's like each exercise, each practice is a revelation in itself because it helps us not to separate all the different parts that we consist of. First and foremost, of course, our heart energy, our emotional body, because that is probably the level and the layer inside our human constitution that suffers the most because we can be very mentally smart. We can be lots of doers also, but we shortcut the emotional body, and we also eventually shortcut to come really into our more primal or instinctive self, our primordial sounding that helps us to come really in contact with the depths of Mother Earth, with the roots of who we really are, also our ancestral makeup, all that what we carry in our DNA, which is important to heal and to release and see our greater potentials. And all this through very unique voice sound exercises. So that means that the various brains that we consist of, the reptilian, the limbic, the neocortex, the frontal cortex, all these brains, meaning our whole body gets really rejuvenated, gets synergized as we start to do the soul's work. Very to the point, very playful also, and very synergizing, very weaving everything. And you can come exactly as you are. You don't need to, yes, be able to sing. If you have a voice, you can sound, you can play, you can really go in there. It's both very deep and also, we could say, playful, because without being playful to all what we consist of and unravel it step by step, we don't go so far. So we'll get
Yeah.
that also
I,
in.
I think that's one real takeaway from me from doing the soul voice work all those years ago was how much our voice is an instrument. And it really is this gateway between the head, that doing the rational mind, and then, yeah, the body and the wisdom that lies within our embodiment. So, yeah, the voice is an instrument. And I think that for anyone who does feel nervous about using that voice, yeah, it really opens up possibilities, doesn't it? I know mine is a little bit untuned right now, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to fine tune it a little bit, play with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
flex those muscles, and yeah, it's not about performance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, the embodiment of the voice. That means embodiment of our thoughts, everything that we are, that we really descend, that we really come into there where it's really vibrating ourselves, because it's like the voice is the bridge between the masculine and the feminine, the masculine energy and the masculine going upwards, feminine going downwards, and it's bridging the two. All the practices we are doing are also synergizing further the inner male and the inner male, female, and really embodiment. I think there's nothing we need is that today, to really come into our bodies so we really know the core from the depths of our gut feelings and our belly and our solar plexus and our heart, all of it, our feet, like,
mm.
and also the rhythm, like, yeah, there's a lot up in our world today about really be clear about our boundaries and our rhythm, like the rhythm of the earth, the rhythm of our heartbeat, come back to synchronizing so that we can avoid any stress and any separation, you know,
Mm, mm. Yeah,
any,
a beautiful mentor of mine, Marcus Bussey, and friend, says we hack the brain, when we come into our body, is we hack those, and I say the traditional pathways and routes and of domestication, that we find ourselves in. And like you're saying, then coming into the body, we can integrate and come home to these different energies within ourselves. Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah. What is also very potent in the workshop is that people express sounds and, yeah, expression that they never thought was possible to
Mm,
express. Is like they get taken into a complete other kind of universe that goes beyond for pretty much everyone, I guarantee anything that they have experienced before, and then they wake up, they get shaken in a good way, and
Mm,
then they get awakened up to that finer inner voice that we also call our intuition or our higher guidance or God within, whatever we call that source of all that is, in a new way of saying, wow, this is where I need to go. This is who I am. Oh, this is why. Like the insights become so much more clear.
mm. Yes,
And you
yes.
get tools how to, these obstacles that we have in daily life, hesitation, fears, and sabotage, whatever the energy is, you get tools to start to self-heal also with your own sound frequencies, which is very important to know how to do that and how simple it can be. Of course, you need to take the further trainings to be more adequate, to be more really great in doing it. But already after 2 days workshop, you can see a significant difference in your daily life, that you have a voice and that you can use simple exercise to really attune, align yourself on all levels.
Mm. So, I suppose one question that comes up for me, and I'm other people might be interested in, is I think in our world where it's all about doing things at speed, and I always talk about like slow leadership and just really slowing down time, opening up the pauses. But one thing, I've reflected on about yourself, and how valuable it is at this time when everything's about being fast, fast, busy, busy, busy. Like, what is it that sustained you for 3 decades, holding, and being a pioneer in this field? Um, when there's, still so much resistance to being embodied and being deeply embodied and accessing some of those more wild, undomesticated aspects of ourselves that really that we come up against. Yeah. So I suppose the question is, yeah, what sustained you in those 3 decades and really drove you? Yeah.
Uh, well, first and foremost, the vocation, the passion, the listening to Mother Earth. So what is really needed for our planet, and this energy of being faster, being more effective, or forgetting who we are to follow something outside ourselves that is not, we could say, really human or really founded in the balance between the inner male and the inner female, because the inner female energy on all levels are suffering so greatly. And that the Soros method is a lot based on female principles and the compassion, with a huge clear direction of where we are going. But I remember very early on, I cried with Mother Earth to hear her calling, literally cried and wept and went deep grief of listening to what we are doing to planet Earth from her, the Earth herself also, but of course through the great feminine and the great mother, that we are not listening and we are not hearing this, and we are following out our rules or circumstances that we have to follow in the system, and that this is very unhealthy. And as we see, the world are getting more and more unbalanced and sick. We have a huge way to go, but we have a huge transformation happening, I believe, also now, where the awakening of it is happening, and more people are awakened to the greater feminine power and listening to the body. How could we ever leave the body? We are human beings in a body, and yeah, from when I took an actress education that was about embodiment before I came into, this was in my 20s, it's a couple of years ago, but this was an embodiment of having masks on. And how do you come into your guts? How do you come into your belly? How do you come into your chi, yeah, energy? So everything can arise from there. And that's what I educate people how to come in. And from there, it arises from the depths of our being, the depths of our womb, I mean, for men, the depths of their roots to anything. Of course, the workshop are for men and for women, but for men and women, we must come back to honor and respect what all the female principles are on a much, much bigger scale.
Yeah, as we discussed the other day, and with my wild feminine framework, I definitely concur. Well, it's been amazing, Karina. Thanks. I mean, thanks just for being you and pioneering this method. And yeah, thank you for doing this interview. And I hope that, yeah, well, I know that those who need to be called will be, because we definitely need more people on the planet who follow their soul voice and find that expression to bring through more of that maternal love and care for the world. Yeah, human and non-human. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again, Karina.